Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about a tent that is often recommended for beginner backpackers, wild campers, and if you're in the UK, I believe this tent is also on the Duke of Edinburgh Expedition kit list for some kids. I've wild camped in this tent a couple of times. I'm going to show you how we go about pitching it, what works well, and what could be done better. First off, some specs. This is the Coleman Cobra 2. It is supposedly a two-person tunnel tent, weighing in around 2.3 kilograms. It packs down to about 50 centimeters by about 15 centimeters. It's compact enough to drop into a rucksack strapped to the outside or even inside, and maybe even on the side of a bike. So first off, what's inside it? Let's open up the pack and let's take a look. The bag is a drawstring bag and it clamps down to help keep the tent really small. Inside we've got the main body of the tent, including the inner and the outer. We also have a small pack of pegs. I always pack my poles inside the tent because you know that the poles always fit in the bag. We've got the fly sheet and the inner. When you first get this tent, the fly sheet and inner are going to be separate. But the first time you put it up, you're going to connect them together. And if you're anything like me, you're going to leave them connected. The only time I would ever disconnect them is if they get really wet and I need to dry them out. We've got the pole sack and we've got two aluminium poles. You'll see these are red coated for the red tabs. These are silver for the silver tabs. We've got 16 pegs here in this pack. I'm not guaranteeing that I haven't lost any, but these are quite high quality and sturdy pegs. They're not the cheap shepherd's hook pegs you sometimes get. Now let's get this tent set up. First thing we're going to do is insert the poles. We've got the long ones and we've got the short ones. I'm going to go in with the long ones first, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. We have very clear sleeves into which to insert your poles. The actual sleeves themselves are not especially long. The poles are inserted into these small retaining clips here, like that. Once the poles are in, drop all the pegs in and then your tent is up. As you can see here, the inner and the outer both have hoops to peg down. I always tend to peg them out with separate pegs. It makes it much easier to put up. And finally, you just need to add these clips to the poles. Because I'm not camping in this tent overnight, I haven't bothered with the guy ropes either side. There is in fact one guy rope at the foot end, two guy ropes up at the head end, and then one guy rope running across each of these sections here to give you lateral support. If it's windy, put all of the guy ropes out. If it's not windy, I would highly recommend you put the guy ropes out at the foot end and at the head end because they open up the vents to enable some more air, which is going to help with any condensation that might build up overnight. This tent itself is very dark inside. You'll see this symbol. This means it's a dark tent inside of it, and this material is thicker with a black coating to try and help you sleep at night and not wake up so early in the morning. This tent has one entrance. Let's take a look inside. This is me inside the tent with no sleeping pad. As you can see, my head is very much touching the roof of the tent. If I lie down, have a look how much room we have. I have plenty of room for my head in. I'm 6 foot tall. My feet are comfortable. As I'm sure you can see from my feet, ain't no way you're fitting two people in this tent. Why this is called the Coleman 2, I do not know. We do, however, have a second internal section that we can access over here. And through here, there is no door to the outside, but you can store more kit in here. The next question you've got is the vestibule big enough for you to do any cooking in the event of inclement weather? Even with my extra wide angle lens on the GoPro, it looks small, but actually I would say with an alcohol stove, a small alcohol stove here, you could safely cook in here. Gas stove, they tend to be higher and they have a chance of flaring, and this material is quite close. The vestibule space does extend further down there, and there is enough space down there as well. So with the two vestibules, there is definitely enough area in here to store all your kit. Inside, we have one pocket on the one side and another pocket on the other side. You can see we have a very large vent here to help with condensation, and that vents directly out to the outside through there. There is another much smaller vent at the foot end, so this does help keep this tent condensation free. So what's good about the Cobra 2? First, it's genuinely weatherproof. 3000mm hydrostatic head, fully sewn in bar tub floor, low profile design to help with wind management. So that's really good, especially for the price. It's also a very, very easy and quick tent to put up. It's also got a very good weight to cost ratio, about 2 kilograms, and it's about 120 quid. What a great way to get started in a fantastic hobby like wild camping. It's ideal for solo backpackers who want a bit more room, but there's no way you're sleeping 2 people in here. Maybe 2 small children, 6, 7 years old, camping in the garden, maybe. The fly first pitch, not many budget tents offer this, so that's a real benefit if you're trying to put it up in bad weather. Now for the downsides, and there are a few downsides that you probably need to be aware of. It's very tight, even for one person, and there's not a lot of headroom. The space at the foot end is small, it's almost a coffin style tent. Second, the vestibule is pretty small. You can store your boots and a backpack. Cooking in the porch is cramped, maybe with alcohol, but with a gas stove, I don't think so. Obviously, you should never cook inside of the tent, it's very dangerous. The ventilation is okay, and there's an extra vent at the foot end, but in damp conditions, especially in somewhere like the UK, you may struggle with condensation building up inside the tent, and I know I've had to air this tent a few times to get it dry before I can put it away. Finally, the tunnel design. It's very stable in one direction, but if you've got crosswinds hitting the side of it, there's quite a big panel for it to get pulled out. So who's this tent for? Budget conscious backpackers. Maybe you've got a festival that you're going to and you're camping on your own. I think it'd be quite a good fit there. Solo trekkers who want a little bit more room, maybe it's okay. DV, scout expeditions, maybe they're okay. It is quite a hard wearing tent. If you're considering this tent, it's worth checking out a few other alternatives. My top recommendation for tents in this price bracket is the NatureHike Cloud Up 2. It's lighter, it's freestanding, it has more internal space, it's got a vestibule that you could probably just about cook in. I've also got a full review of that tent that I'll link to above. I highly recommend checking that out. The Cobra 2 is faster to pitch, but it is smaller when it is up. Then you've got the Vango Banshee Pro 200, similar weight, more inner room, slightly pricier. And if you want to spend some money, MSR Elixir 2, premium feel, more room, higher price, and then all of the Durstons. If you really want to spend some money, the Durston X-Dome is absolutely wiping the floor with all of the other tents at the moment. If you're considering this tent, let me know in the comments. Have you used the Cobra 2? What do you think? If you found this review helpful, I'd really appreciate if you give it a like, a thumbs up, maybe subscribe for more gear reviews, and do check out my Cloud Up 2 review, because I'd say that is a much better tent than this all round.